Hey guys, it's Neil again from Heart of Texas Army, and today I got another video review of a blade that I really like, and this particular one is one of my favorite hunting knives, and that is the Cold Steel Pendleton Hunter. So this thing is just excellent for skinning a deer. To me, that's really what I use it for, is for skinning and hunting tasks. But I really like it. I've had it for about 3 or 4 years now, and it's been just an excellent little knife. So I wanted to do a video review of it in case any of y'all were interested in picking one of these up. So the specs, I'll go ahead and get those out of the way. Let me go ahead and get the blade out of the sheath here. So what you're looking at is about 8 1/4 inches overall length. And then you'll notice right off the bat the little short blade here, which is 3 1/2 inch blade length. That comes into play and is excellent for hunting because you want a short blade where you can have control when you're skinning. The longer the blade, the less control you're going to have when you're skinning. You have more of a chance of hitting an internal organ or cutting through the hide. It's just better having a short little blade like this for these tasks. The weight on this is going to be at 5.8 ounces, so it's not too heavy. I mean, it's got a little weight because of this handle material, which is like a rubber based material, and we'll go over all this in a little more detail later. But it's 5.8 ounces, which is it's a decent weight, but it's not too heavy. Your blade thickness on this is about 3/16, so it's fairly thick. Now, if you look at the profile of the blade, they really thin that sucker out. There's a good look at it. But back here, I mean, that's a thick piece of steel right there, particularly for skinning. But like I mentioned, they profile it down pretty thin on the edge. So that's going to be your blade thickness. And then your steel that they use is VG1 steel. So that's Japanese steel, a stainless steel, which in my opinion, it's a pretty dang good steel for the money. It's going to be comparable with 440C or AUS 88, if you're familiar with those. Those are very common steels, whereas the VG1 is not quite as common. But in my opinion, it has a few benefits or upgrades over those other two steels, and that is, one, the corrosion resistance is really high on this VG1. You will not have this thing rust probably ever. Then the other thing that's improved with that steel, in my opinion, is going to be the edge retention. I feel like this blade, I don't know if it's just their heat treat or what, but it takes a good edge and it holds a good edge. I will say that the 440Cs and the AUS 8s are going to be easier to sharpen, so just keep that in mind. This steel is an upgrade over a lot of areas over those steels, but it is going to be harder to sharpen than the 440Cs and AUS 8s. And it's also, what's cool is this blade was actually made in Japan. And I'll quickly kind of show you the overall design on both sides here. You can see the marks. Hopefully it'll focus there for you guys. Let me actually zoom in. There we go. So you can actually read right there. VG1 stainless, Japan. Now on the back it just has the Pendleton little logo there. There it is. Pendleton Hunter. 1 second as I switch back out to this camera. All right. So some of the things that I really like about this blade, like I mentioned, I really like the steel choice. That VG1 is an excellent steel, particularly for hunting tasks. When you're out camping or trekking around the mountains trying to hunt and stuff, you might get a rain shower on you, and this blade is not going to rust ever. So that's a good choice. Plus the edge retention is good for it stays sharp for a long time. So even if you hit like a bone or something when you're skinning an animal, or just skin a whole bunch of animals, it's still going to have a good edge. So that's important. I really like the design of it. Like I mentioned, it's not going to win any beauty contests. There's not a beautiful wooden handle on it. It's very utilitarian, but for what it is, it excels at what it was designed for. The handle is also very comfortable. I mentioned, it had like a rubber coating. I don't know what they call this, but it's like a rubber overmold. So very grippy, feels good in the hand. There's no hot spots. There's no sharp edges. It's all been rounded over nicely. Very comfortable to use. You can hold it like this. You can choke up on it. Every way you hold this blade feels nice. They do have a lanyard hold here if you wanted to put a lanyard on it. Then they got a little finger guard there that keeps your finger from sliding forward, which is important too. So that's nice. I really like the short blade. That's going to limit its uses, so it's not going to be the most useful blade as in other tasks like bushcrafting. I mean, it'll do okay, but this thing is designed for skinning, in my opinion. And then the price on this is also a plus. These things go for about $50 to $60 online, which in my opinion is a pretty dang good deal. So you're getting a lot of blade for your money. So then the cons that I'll mention, just from me using it, these are just things that I didn't really so much care for. One, I do think the spine is a little thick. I mean, this is a short blade. You're not batoning with this. You're not going to be doing a whole lot of super heavy duty tasks with this. This is a skinning knife, so so there's really no point in my opinion having that spine that thick. I mean, it just adds a little bit of weight to the blade. So I think they could have gone with a little thinner spine there and saved some ounces, and that would have been an improvement. However, it doesn't really affect the performance of the cutting because of the profile that how they I guess that's a hollow ground blade there, but they really thin it out down low. I mean, you can look right here and see how much. Let's see if I can zoom in here. I mean, you can see how they profile that down. There's a lot of material removed. So that's kind of a con. And then the other thing I'll mention with this is I'm not a huge fan of the sheath. I mean, it's a decent sheath. It does hold, they call it the Secure X, and it definitely is secure. I mean, even without having this little snap tied over the top, I mean, this thing would never come out. But, and I like that about it. But what I don't like about this sheath is that these lanyard holes are so small, so it's even difficult to get like 550 paracord through there. I wish they would have had a little bigger rivets in there so it would have been easier to lash this down to a backpack or something. And then another thing I'll mention, this material here is a little flimsy. I mean, it just moves around. I wish it had a little more, it was a little more rigid. So, you have a button snap here. So it's got double protection, and that's what you'd open that and slip it over your belt and lock that down over your belt. But having that material being so flimsy, it just kind of, to me, it would have been better served if they had a little more rigid of material. I don't know if they could have done a different weave pattern or something, just added a little more structure to this design here. But overall, I think it's a really good knife, for the money, like I mentioned. For 50 bucks, it's hard to go wrong with it. It's one of my most used knives when I go hunting. I really do like it, and I probably will never get rid of it. But anyways, I just wanted to do a video on this knife here, just kind of explaining my thoughts on it. And if y'all have any questions on it, just leave them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. Y'all take care.